updates on sports stories across the globe, Aaron Akerijola joins us. Good morning, Aaron.
Yes, good morning to you, Ayo. And let's get started today as we actually count down literally to hours when the game will kick off between Nigeria and South Africa. It will be the Super Eagles against the Bafana in what will be another epic encounter. We've shed quite a lot of history between both countries in terms of football, and we know let's not even go into trade, let's not even go into food and several other things. But at the moment, the Super Eagles actually left Abidjan, their major camp, to Bouaké yesterday, 10 p.m. aboard Air Cote d'Ivoire, and they landed there, settled in, and they will start training this morning and later on this evening to acclimatize themselves to that particular stadium, to the pitch, and more importantly to the weather in Bouaké, because it's slightly different from what we've been experiencing here in Abidjan. So at the moment, the Super Eagles are well tucked in Bouaké, all set for that particular encounter. Now, talking about the semifinals, we know as it stands right now, 2 more games, and the Super Eagles will literally be in La La Land, or in Glory Land, as some would like to call it, because as it stands right now, they know that it is theirs for the taking, being the highest ranked team still in this particular competition, talking about the AFCON 2023. The semi-finals are heating up, and there's a possibility that the Super Eagles might meet Ivory Coast, Ceteris Paribus, all things being equal, if everyone does their job, because at a certain time the permutations were looking like it would be the Super Eagles against Morocco, but the Atlas Lions of Morocco did not rise to the occasion when it mattered the most, and right now they've actually gone home, and a lot of things have not really panned out as they expected coming into the tournament as favorites. Well, let's see how things play out. But the Super Eagles, according to what we're hearing, they're keeping a level head, trying to remain focused, knowing that any kind of rush of blood to the head or any distraction whatsoever will scot to their chances. We'll talk about one distraction, but before then, one that might not be a good news coming in from the camp of the Super Eagles was the fact that on board that particular flight to Bouaké, one man was conspicuously missing. Talking about the star boy himself, the biggest name on the team sheet for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Africa's best player at the moment, and also Ballon d'Or nominee, talking about Victor Osimhen. According to the medics and according to the official statement, he had an abdominal discomfort, so he stayed back. But this morning we should be given a deeper insight into whether or not he will be playing tomorrow. But for now, they say they would actually assess him today and make a decision later on this evening whether or not he will be joining them later this evening by 5 p.m. or staying back in Abidjan and missing that crucial game. But of course, you and I know this, the Super Eagles have been riddled with injuries, and the coach has been able to manage that crisis, and he's come out tops, because when you look at it coming into this particular tournament, Victor Boniface was a huge loss, not forgetting Wilfred Onyedidi, to mention but a few. But the coach has been able to rally himself around and dig deep, and he's been able to come out tops at the moment. So let's see if he will be able to once again move the jigsaw around and actually move the chess pieces around to get the perfect balance to fit in for Victor Osimhen. Maybe a Terry Murphy, who has been left out in the cold, might just be given the shout and also given the nod to actually play against South Africa. Now, let's talk about one particular team. We've spoken about South Africa. Now, the beauty is this. The Super Eagles do know that if they win that particular game, they will be $2.5 million richer. We know that CAF has reviewed the prize monies upward. Now, this is aside the game, aside the qualification bonus that the Super Eagles got, that I can say for sure is in their bank account. Talking about $30,000 for the first 3 games, give or take, approximately based on today's valuation, about 40 million naira. And I'm not sure about the next 2 rounds in terms of payment and their qualification. They've qualified, but payments I cannot say for certain. But they've gotten the first tranche of their qualification bonuses. They've gotten also camp allowances as we speak, and they do know that if they can win this $7 million will be theirs, added to all this that has actually come their way, thanks to what has been a speculative performance from the Super Eagles. At the moment, it is all smiles, I must say, all smiles.
All right, all smiles. Thank you very much, Aaron. Of course, all focus is on the game, the big one between the Super Eagles and Bafana. Is there any likelihood of, I know you talked about him having an abdominal pain, Victor Osimhen missing the game because a number of Nigerians are concerned around the state of his health?
At the moment, it's still 50-50. And the truth is this, he's a trooper. If you know Victor Osimhen, some say he's very stubborn, and that has actually helped his career because he's very dogged, he's very resilient. He's a man that never gives up. He's a man that will chase down everything. So he has it within him to actually rise above that particular abdominal discomfort. But if the medics do not give him an all clear, he will not be playing. It's the medics that will determine, not even Victor Osimhen himself, whether or not he will play tomorrow.
Well, we hope that Victor Osimhen will be on duty tomorrow so that we don't begin to lament like the Egyptians who owe their loss to the absence of Mohamed Salah. And I hope the Super Eagles are aware that some South Africans have been threatening us online. That if we can, let us try and beat the South African team. Well, what the Super Eagles can do for us is to stand up for Nigeria and make sure that they beat the South Africans 2-0 to show that all these online threats will not work. When we get onto that field, we will beat them. And those of us who are not there physically will be with them in spirit. Yes.
Doctor, as a matter of fact, permit me to interject at this point in time because the High Commission in South Africa there has even issued a directory to Nigerians living in South Africa and in the Rainbow Land not to overly celebrate or not to be overcome with so much joy that they begin to rub into the faces of South Africans. That is the directory being given out right now, that they should try to take things easy.
I'm aware of that advice. The South Africans too should also advise their people not to behave in a provocative manner. Okay? But let's settle the matter on the field of play. Thank you very much, Aaron.